Coming to you from Coney Island. No, that's Palm Beach in the background. And there are a few people still out there. And the waves look like they're pretty good, huh?
And to be totally transparent with our audience, as we always are.
That was early.
Well, it's a little bit earlier and it's a little bit north of Palm Beach, but it's along the eastern Florida eastern coast. That's actually a live cam. But now it's dark out. So if we fast forward to now, it'd be pitch black behind the mayor. So
I see. So that's about an hour ago.
Right. And you're right, but look at the people out there.
Yeah, about an hour ago. It's warm out. If you take a look at the map right now, it'll be the easiest way. It'll be the easiest way for me to describe what historic situation occurred today and the step that we're at. Remember, the president laid out several days ago a 20-point program for settling the war in the Middle East, to which Bibi Netanyahu agreed, assuming they do. And also, not only did Bibi Netanyahu agree, every single other country in the region agreed, meaning every Arab country in the region agreed. Iran didn't quite agree, but it didn't disagree. But Iran's not an Arab country. As Arabs will tell you, it's a Persian country. Maybe Muslim Shiite, that's also another big distinction, one that has led to millions of deaths. But this is a unanimously endorsed decision, but for the little small, almost non-existent homicidal maniac group Hamas, who now say, we think that they're going to agree. So what will happen, I believe the Knesset approved it tonight. So the Israelis are on board. If the Israelis have signed it, which I assume they have, the agreement now provides 72 hours for Hamas to return 20 live and 28 dead hostages, Israeli, at least one American. I say that coldly, coolly, but with tremendous, unbelievable anger. This should have been done a long time ago, and it never should have happened. Maybe the invasion never should have happened. Maybe the Israeli government should have been aware of it. Maybe this, maybe that. But the messing around with the hostages, using them like bait, we got to stop that. And we've got to convince our Israeli friends we set down a rule. We don't trade hostages. We don't do that. I was a prosecutor, and I studied this in great, great detail. I handled kidnapping cases. I've read all about kidnapping and the history of crime. You know why we have very few kidnappings in the United States and they have them all over the world? Because we don't negotiate with the bastards. That's why. If we can, we shoot and kill them. And, at the beginning, we used to execute them when we were real men. And it ended it because we don't screw with them. You don't screw with them. Sorry. It is enormously hard to say that if that's your brother, your sister, your daughter. Of course you want to make the deal. But do you realize over a period of time how many Israelis have lost their lives because Israel does that? And there's probably nothing else I would criticize Israel on other than that. But now they're going to get 28 dead bodies back, 20 live ones, and they're going to give up. Is it 250 or 2,500?
Yeah, it's the latter number. Thousands.
2,500. They can give up 2,500 murderers who will come back and over the next 5 years, peace notwithstanding, and kill Israelis. Like many of the key people in the October 7 attack were part of the 1,000 plus that Israel returned for one guy, including the leader. So let's get this over with and let's rethink what happens. When we get to Monday or Tuesday and those hostages are returned, the leverage is all on our side from that point on. Now, what Israel has to do in return, if you look at that map, right now, Israel is stationed along the blue line. In other words, they have that shoreline of Gaza completely surrounded. They did have it occupied. I wouldn't be surprised if they don't still have it occupied. But they've moved out to the blue line. On Monday or Tuesday, if they comply with the hostage situation, Israel then has 72 hours to move out to the let's see if we can get this right here. To move out to the yellow line. You see that yellow line surrounding the shore? And they will place their troops along as much of that as possible. Does it have to be exactly behind or on? No, it has to be primarily in that area. Primarily, if it's like that a little bit and like that, it's okay. During that period of time when Israel does that, that's when the negotiations take place. So during the negotiations on the about 15 more points that exist, the Israeli army will be occupying roughly half of Gaza. So ready to take over the other half if something goes wrong. Let's hope it doesn't, but let's also realize who we're dealing with, which is a group of terrorists, right? So we have no assurance of what's going to happen. But if you get to Monday or Tuesday and what I just described happens, that in and of itself is a massive historic victory for the United States, for Israel, and for switching a great deal of the Middle East to a much more humane, sensible way of acting in line with a civilization which is not theirs, but they're borrowing from ours, called Western, which is superior to theirs. Don't get upset. You've got to be realistic. There's nothing like Western civilization, nothing close. You guys would be still killing each other if we hadn't come along. I mean, you were killing each other forever, and until Western civilization came along, nobody even thought about humanity. So that's why I believe that the president is absolutely entitled to this fabulous picture. Look at that guy. That's a fabulous picture. True leader of the North. Can you see that?
Yes.
So I superimposed on that, but I haven't gotten it finished yet. Leader of Western civilization. Who do you think the Crusades were with? Go look up history. God forbid. I know you weren't taught it if you went to school in the last 20 years. History's not allowed. So the ball is now in Hamas's court, whatever exists of it. They have to round up the 20 people they've tortured. And they have to find the 28 bodies that they tortured and killed and return them to their families. This probably doesn't mean much to them since they use children to cover themselves. And we have unbelievably large numbers of disgusting video of them raping children in front of their parents. But despite the fact that it means nothing to them, it means a lot to us. So they better be returned. And then we'll proceed with some of the very tough. Do not assume that the other 15 points are worked out. Do not assume that they are not going to want to have a part of governing Gaza. According to the 20 points, Hamas has no role in governing anything again, ever. Don't assume that. Those things could become issues. But if we get to the point of the hostages are gone, then the ball is definitely in our court, and we've created a tremendous victory. So let's pray that happens. Now, the president is scheduled to go to the Middle East on Sunday. If I understand correctly, he's going to Israel.
Yep. Egypt first.
Egypt first. So then he's going to sign first,
That's
and
for the ceasefire deal, yeah.
and then he's going to speak to the Knesset after that.
Yep.
Well, that would mean the hostages would have to be returned before he could sign. Okay. So that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
But okay, what were you going to say?
We believe they believe, Israel believes that 20 of the 48 remaining unaccounted for hostages are still alive. They are accounted for, I guess. There's 48 outstanding hostages. Israel believes 20 are still alive of the 48.
And have they confirmed that?
I am looking for confirmation. I haven't seen them confirming 20, but they believe 20 are alive.
Okay. Well, getting back to an enormously important domestic situation that you should all be aware of, it is quite clear that the administration, all hands on deck, is involved in doing the best that it can to eliminate, like we're eliminating Hamas, Antifa. And it's about time. Christy Noem did a terrific analysis of Antifa's domestic terrorism. And although she didn't go into detail on it, there is an enormous amount of material to show that they are international terrorists. In fact, it didn't even begin in the United States. Now, there's a difference. When you heard that the president made them a terrorist group, you thought, well, they'll be treated the same way Hamas is treated. They'll be treated the same way as ISIS is treated. They'll be treated the same way as terrorists are treated. What does that mean? That means we can seize all their assets. They can't have American bank accounts. We take them. We hold the money. We can arrest and prosecute people who help them. If you could arrest and prosecute people who help Antifa, Soros would be in jail. He gave him plenty of money. In fact, Black Lives Matter is suing him for money that he supposedly stole from them. That's fabulous. Black Lives Matter and Soros the whole thing was Soros really wasn't funding Black Lives Matter. Now they're suing him for about $300 million. I wonder how true that was, huh?
Right.
But the real objective now is to get them designated as a foreign terrorist organization. Now they have chapters in 8 or 10 European cities. They theoretically, and there's a string at least, they began as an anti-fascist organization against Mussolini, which is why their theme song is an Italian theme song. But the reality is they don't sing it in Italy anymore because there's no more Mussolini. They don't sing it anywhere, any place other than in the Western United States. And one of the places they sing it a lot is in Utah. And one of the people who liked it very much is the guy who assassinated Charlie Kirk, which creates a very substantial possibility that Antifa had a large involvement in the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Certainly the guy who did it was associated with Antifa. You don't need that. I mean, gosh, you can go back to 2020 when they took over the city of Portland. They took it away from the United States. We didn't have the resources then to take it back. When the Floyd thing calmed down, when the pandemic thing calmed down, people lost focus on Portland. They presently control Portland. Antifa is not powerless. Antifa has a lot of assets, and they have them very well hidden. But the one that's nice and wide open is in Portland. They run Portland, Oregon. They run it. The police listen to them. When ICE asked for help against Antifa, the police commissioner told them not to help ICE. police commission has kind of denied it. Every single recording seems to confirm it. I don't know why the hell he isn't in jail. I don't know why the mayor isn't in jail. And somebody should be making a case on the governor. You could, for all intents and purposes, say that Portland, Oregon has seceded from the United States. It's like a southern state during the Civil War. Chicago has seceded from the United States. When the governor of Illinois and the mayor of Chicago tell us that the federal government cannot come in there to enforce the United States law, what the hell's that? That is secession. The Constitution of the United States binds us together with the Supremacy Clause. Supremacy Clause says that when push comes to shove, federal law is supreme. And then it sets up areas of presumptive responsibility. Like local law enforcement is the presumptive responsibility of state and local governments. Immigration is the sole responsibility of the federal government. So Trump is not trying to interfere in local law enforcement. But we'll get to that in a second. But what Trump primarily wants to do is use the National Guard to protect his federal agents because they're not being protected by the local police who were ordered not to work with them. And we have a specific case in point just a few days ago when the chief of police in Portland called back the police from aiding ICE, leaving them there unprotected. The federal government operates all throughout the country on the theory that the local police supports them. That's why we don't have a massive federal police force. We have we've got 15,000 federal agents. I had 41,000 cops. Just my little New York City, I had 41,000 cops. I was 4 times the size of the FBI. I know you think the FBI is big and powerful, but it is, and it's as long as it defines its jurisdiction carefully and doesn't get involved in all the problems of local law enforcement, it's fine. If not, it'll be overwhelmed. And when they do help, despite the fact that there are frictions between local law enforcement and federal, there's never frictions about protecting each other. I mean, ultimately, they are citizens of the same country. Every one of those local law enforcement officers takes an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States. The Constitution of the United States makes federal law superior. So what we've tolerated with sanctuary cities is an abomination of our Constitution. It's a desecration of it. It's a complete violation of it. And we should have stopped it day one. And when the governors and mayors insisted on it, we should have put them in jail. The way we did with George Wallace when we sent the National Guard down there. Federal government said, you have to integrate your schools. George Wallace said, not in Alabama. We have states' rights. You do have states' rights, but they're not everything. You don't have the state right to ally with Russia against the United States, pal. Your state's rights are not supreme. And you don't have the right to violate fundamental constitutional rights when the Supreme Court has said you have to follow them. There's no right to do that. You ceded that when we became a national government. And President Eisenhower and then President Kennedy had the guts to send the National Guard down over the objection of George Wallace. Now, how is that any different than going into Portland, Oregon, or Chicago, where the two, the mayor governor, are acting like George Wallace's, except in this case, to benefit illegal aliens, a large percentage of whom are predators, are people who are harming our citizens, because those are the ones that really are in the bullseye. If you pick up a couple that aren't, that's a mistake. It's collateral. They're after the rapists, the murderers, the killers, the Nicaragua people, the MS-13 people. Those are the people on the list. Now, in doing that, you're going to pick up others who are here illegally, but maybe aren't criminals. Law enforcement isn't totally precise. What we do with them is arguable. But you can't blame that on, they say, oh, they picked up some guy who worked in a restaurant. Yeah, they picked them up with 4 people that were raping little girls. How do they know? Until they parse it out. And then the question is, if you did pick them up accidentally, and they are here illegally, do you keep them here? Or do you throw them out? I think the mood of the country is throw them out because we have too many of them. I mean, it's like we've overdid it. A lot of times, you can destroy a good thing by overdoing it. Criminals do that all the time. Crooks do that. Politicians do it all the time. Instead of taking little bribes, they want to take big bribes. Instead of controlling a little bit of it, they want to control all of it, and that's when they get caught. So they went to court today. I don't know what the final decision in Chicago was. The left-wing Obama judge doesn't even belong as a judge in the Soviet Union or China. She belongs as a judge in some like make-believe fairy tale law school called left-wing law school. I have no idea what she ruled. She ruled that the federal government didn't have a good enough reason to put National Guard there. To make that decision, they'd have to elect a president. And if you listen to this woman, I mean, this would be worse than electing Kamala Harris. She's like just as stupid. So she's not president. That isn't her role. It's the role of the president to make these decisions. You got to be like a completely malicious judge not to realize the Supreme Court's going to reverse you so fast, your head's going to spin. And then maybe they should throw you out because it is a distorted, illegal interpretation of the law. When the president is making decisions about the military, you have no place in that. Not where it's an area of judge. See if you can take out a letter, a little pen, and write this down. Because I think you're probably too stupid to understand it. This is an area of presumptive federal jurisdiction, foreign policy, immigration. That's not for Congress, to some extent. Definitely not for the courts. So get the hell out. You will be out by the time it gets up to the circuit court. And God forbid an ICE agent gets killed in between. Then they should prosecute you for negligent homicide. About the only way to wake up these people. Right. So Antifa is finally going to be put where it belongs. And I think by next week sometime, it'll be on the foreign terrorist list. And when it gets on the foreign terrorist list, the federal government can seize all of its money that it can find anywhere. And it can go seize Soros's bank accounts to determine how much money Soros has given them. And then it can go investigate every bank in Portland and see how much of Portland they control. Wouldn't be a bad idea. But we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to have, I don't know if this is fun or sad. There aren't that many elections this year.
No. There's 2 big ones.
How do the Democrats, is this the worst group
3
of Democrat candidates ever selected in the history of the country? Maybe during the Civil War when they were segregationists and secessionists. This could be the biggest group of crooks and jackasses I've ever seen. But let's go through a couple of them and see if you agree with me, okay?
And we'll be right back.
We'll be right back. U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month.
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal. 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month,
Wow.
including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news,
Wow.
even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax,
Wow.
channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly,
Wow.
where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code RUDY. Act fast. These deals are selling out.
Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep green, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because they like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans, no Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee. The Democrat Party has gone from weak to bad, to really bad, to anti-American, to now pro-Chinese, pro-Marxist, and pro-Islamic extremist, and very much anti-Jewish and anti-American. It also is running, I think, right now this year, the biggest group of clowns that you could possibly find. I don't even think this reminds me of the statement made by Bob Schmidt on Newsmax a couple of weeks ago when I was on, and he said, "How is it that Chicago actually picks the stupidest man to be mayor of Chicago? How can you pick the stupidest person? Actually find him and put him in office." Right. Now, they haven't found just in Chicago the stupidest person. They are now making a concerted effort all throughout the United States to find the most dishonest, the most anti-American, if not the dumbest people you ever met. So we're going to begin with the state of New Jersey, are we?
Sure. Yep.
So the state of New Jersey, we have running in the state of New Jersey somebody named Mickey Sherrill. Now, Mickey somehow became a member of Congress. Mickey had been in the Naval Academy and wasn't allowed to graduate with her class. Now, I don't know how you graduate if you don't graduate with your class. I thought the Naval Academy had high standards. Now, it is ambiguous as to why. There was a major cheating scandal that year. Some very large percentage of our cadets who are supposed to be, duty, honor, and country, forgot about the honor part. And they cheated on an exam. Many, many did. We don't even know the number. They cover it up. Hey, it's our Army, not theirs, and our Navy. She was one of them. I think. She didn't graduate with her class. She says she didn't graduate with her class because she wouldn't rat on all the other cadets who were cheating. She doesn't say whether she was cheating or not. Apparently, I guess, if you were cheating, but you ratted, you got to graduate and become a naval officer. And we're supposed to think that's honorable. But if you didn't rat, you didn't graduate with the class. But we kind of snuck you in anyway, like a little turd or something. Now, here's the thing that is outrageous and for which she shouldn't even be running for office. No, she should have been in Congress. She won't release her records. She's outraged that they got some of her records. She's outraged that Citarelli or his campaign got her records. This is a military institution. It's run for the benefit of the United States, not for the benefit of Cheryl and her husband, who also has some kind of problem with cheating. But I can't go into details about it because he won't release his records.
Right.
But he did graduate with the class. Now, if he graduated with the class, maybe we have one who was a rat, one who wasn't a rat, but they both cheated. Right. So I would say that the people in New Jersey should disqualify her as a candidate unless she releases her records. And she's making like this argument that we're invading her. I'm sorry. Military records are not private. We have a right to know if you're a stinking skunk cheat. You sound like one. So we have a guest.
Yep, we do, Mayor. So all of this news has put this race, of course, under the national spotlight. And recent polls show that Republican nominee Jack Ciattarelli is neck and neck with current Congresswoman Mickey Sherrill. Right. So we have on with us Alexandra Bauer. She is with Moms for Liberty. She's a frequent television commentator, a friend of ours, Mayor. We know her from New York and New Jersey. And she's here to talk to us about what's happening on the ground in New Jersey. Give our audience kind of an update.
Give us an idea of what's happening with Cheryl and with Citarelli.
Yeah, good evening, guys. It's very nice to see both of you. Next time, hopefully in person.
Yes.
Yeah, we have a lot going on in New Jersey. Obviously, we've been through it being in the state, just like New York. So we're sort of used to kind of banging our heads against the wall, honestly, trying to get anything accomplished. If it's common sense, it just doesn't pass here. And I totally agree with you. I mean, when you go into the public eye or military life or anything like that, your life has to be an open book. It has to be. How are we supposed to trust you if you're not completely transparent with us? And that's kind of, how New Jersey feels, right? That's why everybody went out and voted for Trump, because he went on truth and transparency. And that's what we want here in New Jersey. So you're feeling it. We're supposed to be a blue state. I don't know. I think we might be a red state now. There's a ton of rallies planned. Everyone's going. Everyone's like, hey, can I pick up a Jack sign? Tell me more about him. They're really involved now, more so than I think they've ever been. They're really asking a lot of questions. Obviously, you can't trust her. She has absolutely no pulse on the families here in New Jersey, what we want, what we expect, what we're sick of.
I do not understand how she has any right to say we can't see her entire record at the Naval Academy. First of all, we paid for her education. So She didn't pay for her education, we did. By the way, her two kids just got into the Naval Academy from a school that has hardly ever gotten a person into the Naval Academy. And both of them got in. You think maybe that was a fix? I'm from New York. I don't, and I've investigated thousands.
It's crazy. And wasn't
I'm gonna tell you, my guess is that it's a fix. Her husband also got to graduate with his class, although he had some kind of an involvement in a cheating scandal. Now, since we don't have the records, I can't tell. But if what she's saying makes any sense, she didn't rat on her colleagues. Therefore, she didn't graduate with a class. He graduated with the class. Does that mean he ratted on his? So we got one in the family who didn't rat and the other who did. And what is this rat thing all about? You're not supposed to cheat if you're in the. We don't want naval officers who cheat. And how many do we have? How many did we take that cheated on their exam in the Naval Academy and went on to be naval officers? Maybe Pete Hegseth should look into that and clean them all, throw them all out. I mean,
that would definitely be great.
That rule is a very important rule. The word honor is a word that we feature a great deal now. Well, if you cheated, you have no honor, out. And to be in Congress, and if her records were nice and clean, they'd be out in a second. They'd be out in a second. I agree.
Well, she'd be handing them over. I mean, that's the big thing that I always say with people.
They'd be on the front page of every phony magazine in the country.
Yeah, she'd be taking pictures with it. Look here, see, I'm good to go. Oh, come on. You know, if there was proof of that, it would be out in every paper. She would be calling a press conference about it. She would be going after everybody about it. She just gets loud, you know, and that's kind of what the left does, is when they have nothing good to say, they don't have a point to make, or they're hiding something, they get very loud. And, you know, what was it last night? Shame on you or something. Shame on you, sir. Shame on you for what? For calling you out for what you did?
Shame on you, Jack, because you're trying to get her military records out. Whose military records are confidential? There's no such thing as the military is public service. Your records aren't confidential. My records as U.S. attorney aren't confidential. My records as Associate Attorney General aren't confidential. And you can be sure my records as mayor aren't confidential. They've prided every single one of them. And I have no right to say, you can't go look at my records as mayor unless I got something to hide.
Right.
Well,
that's right.
Much. What do you think the chances are?
I honestly think Jack is going to win. I mean, coming just from the parent angle, I will tell you this. She is basically saying that she's going to get rid of the opt-out option for LGBTQ plus curriculum. She said that's too important for the children to learn. Right now, we do have the option to opt out, and she flat out said, I will not allow that to be opted out.
So she's going to go to the left of Murphy. So in other words, if you don't want your kid to be to have some drag queen come in and give them 5 months of lessons, you can't opt out of it. You got to accept it. I mean, Pete Hegseth threw the drag queens out of the military.
Correct. And we have them in the schools. They're reading during library hour for the kids. And the other crazy thing is we don't have school choice in New Jersey. So it's not like you can say, okay, well, this school is inappropriate. This curriculum's inappropriate. I'm going to take my tax dollars and send my child someplace else. And the parents of New Jersey certainly can't afford to send their kids to a private school because it's so expensive to live here. Right? I think our electric goes.
No private scholarship programs like some states have.
Not that I'm aware of.
No, you don't. You don't, because you're dominated by the Communist Teachers Union.
Yes.
No, you
well,
aren't.
Next month they're going to meet together and they're going to have the best of drag there. But what's interesting is we have friends that have been in this industry for a long time, and they flat out will say, they're drag queens. They will flat out say, I would never go in front of a child. This is adult entertainment. Why would a parent trust me? You wouldn't just pick me off the street and say, oh, you look like a nice person. Watch my kids. Why are parents just blindly trusting?
I trust you more than a drag queen. You look like a nice person. I would not take a drag queen and have them take care of my kids. No, I'm sorry.
No. But this is what this is what the parents do. This is what they do. They don't even know who the kids' teachers are. For instance, I always use this analogy when I speak to people. Would you just pick anybody on Facebook or on social media and say, hey, I need a sitter tonight, and not vet them, not find out anything about them? You would never do that.
No.
Yet We drop our kids off at school every single day. We know nothing about those teachers, what their morals, what their values are, and that's got to change. Parents have to be involved and they have to be in the kids' schools and really having an open conversation with the teachers, with the principal, see what the curriculum is. So this doesn't just fall on the state. I mean, yes, we have a governor who's pushing through policies like freedom to read, which basically allows pornography in schools and for the teachers to not get in trouble for it. But the parents have to take responsibility too. How come you're not involved with your kid?
Well, it's increased somewhat, hasn't it? I mean, parents seem to be, like in Virginia, there seems to be a pretty strong movement of mothers because a couple went to jail.
Yes.
But this is, please let me become academic for a moment. This is Marxism. This is one of the first 3 tenets of Karl Marx. Get control of children and education. And when we began establishing a teachers union, the communists were right there. When I say it's a communist teachers union, I mean it was established by communists 70 years ago.
Yes.
And it operates on communist principles. When the governor of Terry McAuliffe, when Terry McAuliffe announced, just out of his communist mouth, because he wasn't thinking, probably he was drinking too much that night, he said, no, the parents have nothing to do with the education of the children. It has to be done by the experts. The experts are the commissars. I mean, the experts are, the whole idea is you as parents will get in the way of establishing the ideal communist socialist state. So we got to get you out of the way. The goal of Marx,
and they've been doing that.
Yeah, the goal of Marx is to get control of your kids at about 3. That was also the goal of Hitler, Lenin, Castro, and everyone who wants to brainwash kids and take them away from parents. And that's what they've done in the blue states. It's horrible. Meanwhile, the education level has gone down to someplace we can't even.
It's the national report card just came out, and it's a third of 12th graders. A third are prepared for college. 22% are proficient in math, 35 in English. And then we're sending them to college because the college will take them.
Do that. Slow it down. 22% are proficient
in math.
These are at what age?
35 in English.
35 in English at what age? At what grade?
12th grade.
So many more people. I mean, the way to look at it is many more kids can't do math and can't do English.
Right. And then we're sending them to college, and then they're going to not do well in college.
Colleges are doing. It used to be that they do college courses in high school. Now we do grammar school courses in college.
Yes. We were just talking about.
We still have to pay Harvard $70,000, right?
Yeah, for 2 more years of high school, basically. That's what you're doing.
Well,
and then they can't find a job.
Alexandra. So what do you do, Alexandra? Moms for
Liberty.
I know Moms for Liberty. You're great,
right? And we've seen her. She's very active, and
so tell us what are you doing? Tell us how you're, because the moms and the dads have to fight back against this. What are you doing?
So what we do at Moms for Liberty is we educate and empower parents. We give them the tools so that they can fight for their own children, fight for their parental rights, stand up for their kids. Because who do the kids have? They have us, right? They're small, they're innocent. They need the parents to stand up for them. For a long time, that wasn't happening. So in the last few years, especially during COVID, we had virtual learning. We started to see what they were doing in the schools, and parents started to step up. First with the masks, you're not masking our kids. Then it was, vaccines. You're not going to force these vaccines. Then it was the, changes to Title IX. No, boys are not going to stare at girls in the bathroom, girls' bathroom, or, hurt them in sports, take their scholarships away. Think about all the women that lost medals, scholarships to college. They had practiced their whole life, worked their whole life for that.
Where do you, roughly, I don't want to give away your address, obviously, but where in New Jersey do you live?
I live in Bergen County, New Jersey.
Okay, my son went to Bergen Catholic.
Okay. Yeah, we're not far. Maybe 15
Not only
minutes
did he
from
go to
here.
Bergen Catholic, but for the longest time, he had the record for the most points scored by a kicker
Very
in New
nice.
Jersey football. But that's a different story.
Yeah, they're known for football. They are
Well,
known
I mean,
for
I
football.
got to tell you, New Jersey, like half my relatives live in New Jersey. What happened to them? It's like New York. Well, I shouldn't be saying it. New York is worse. You're better than New
might
York. New York is worse. I mean, you're closer to becoming a red state than we are. Although he made his biggest gains, Trump did, in New Jersey and New York. So there's something going on.
Well, I think because we felt it. We felt it. I mean, every time we had to go down to Trenton and fight and lose, and they wouldn't even listen to us because it was a blue state. And so that just empowered parents more. Like, you know what? Wait a minute. These are our kids. You're not going to tell us, that they have to learn woke indoctrination, or that they can be any gender they want, or they can be a furry if they want. We're not going to confuse these kids.
Please, that gets me sick, the furry thing, because of Charlie. That guy, the guy who killed him, was some kind of furry, right?
I don't know that he was a furry.
Oh, he was a furry too.
Was he a furry? I thought maybe just trans.
Well, he liked to pretend that he was a furry to make his girlfriend, boyfriend like him, I guess.
Oh, I didn't hear about that one. I actually just bumped into.
Well, let's say he sent her things claiming that he really liked furries.
Oh,
now, I didn't. When I saw that, I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. He likes furry.
Well, I mean, these teachers have litter boxes in the classrooms, and that if they don't affirm it,
I used to think that
they can lose their job.
Alexandra. I mean, I really have to grow up. I used to think that was a joke.
Not.
It is.
And it gets worse. We had a bagel.
Actually, isn't it a tragedy?
It's a tragedy, but I think the kids also, they don't take anything seriously anymore. They don't respect their teachers anymore. We heard about a bagel in New Jersey, a kid who identified as a bagel. At this point, it's just a joke to them. School's a joke. They don't take it seriously. We all know they're not reading and writing where they should be. So.
Is that agenda? I wanted to get somebody to once describe the 56 genders.
No, I think it's like 72, isn't it?
Oh, please. I'm so far behind. The 72 genders. I was on an airplane.
Definitely in the 70s.
I was on an airplane with a very nice young man who was a lawyer, but he represented one of these groups that sued people like me who are insensitive about gender brainwashing. And so I said, but we had a nice conversation. And I said to him, I really would like you to, we have a lot of time on this flight. I'm getting a little piece of paper here. I would like you to, how many of the 52 genders can you name? He didn't get past 4.
I was going to say,
and
how many did he get? 5?
He's the lawyer for them. He got 4 or 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I said, well, what else? So a gender is, being a cat is not a gender. It's an animal.
It's an animal.
Another animal. It's like, you and I are human. If we think we're animals, we are really very sick puppies or cats. I mean, we're very sick. That's like going around thinking of George Washington.
Right.
We used to put when I was an assistant U.S. attorney, there were all kinds of people. They loved to be George Washington. And and when you're a young assistant U.S. attorney, you get a weekly duty for civil complaints, like once every 6 months. You'd have to sit there and waste your time listening to these nut jobs that would come in. And half of them would come in and say, I'm George Washington. I said, it's nice to meet you. I'm Alexander Hamilton. I got in deep trouble once because some guy thought his brain waves were being taken. And I told him to put tinfoil in. And he did. And he came back a couple of days later looking for me. He wanted to beat me up because the tinfoil wasn't working anymore. So, I mean,
bring back mental institutions. We need them. Bring them back. That's it.
Nut people are running things now. Well, we're counting on you, Alexandra, to bring in New Jersey for us, all right? We're going to have you on again before the election to see how Jack is doing, okay?
Oh, we'll have Alexandra.
Yeah, we have a massive rally. We have a massive rally tomorrow. I'm going to do a shameless shout out for it. Wildwood. Back to Wildwood. We
Oh,
have
wow.
Benny Johnson, Scott Presser, we have Scott
I'll tell you what,
Lebedo.
if you could take some pictures, video of it.
RAV, I think
Yeah.
If you can, RAV is going to broadcast it, you think? Oh, great.
Yeah, we have Fox. We have Fox broadcasting all day.
We'll try to get it from them, but if you could get us a little, we would really like that.
I
Okay.
will. I will do it just for you.
Thank you, Alexandra. We're very supportive. Any way we can help, let us know.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We need help. It's a
Well,
team
no,
effort.
no, we need help, whole country, and you're doing it. God bless you.
Thank you.
Charlie Kirk would love you.
Yeah.
Well, it's very hard for me to go through that, and I feel very bad. Like, you shouldn't be laughing about this, right? You shouldn't be laughing about the fact that they treat kids who think they're cats seriously. Poor kid. I mean, the kid's got to be in it. I know I shouldn't say nut house, but I'm very old fashioned. They should be like with appropriate, like not with normal people. Right?
Right.
I mean, if you think you're a cat, you're going to do something weird.
There's no coming back from that.
I mean, that isn't an agenda. That's thinking you're an animal, some other animal other than human.
Right.
Oh, well.
But Alexandra, she's good and she can
Yeah,
articulate
well,
the issues.
let's make sure, those of you who are in New Jersey, please back Jack.
Back Jack.
The issue she used against Jack with medicines improperly advertised. He had a very, very big company. He paid the fine for it. It happens all the time because the distribution is so confused. He didn't do anything deliberately wrong. It was a complete mix-up in the way his business was working. You can't find a business in America that doesn't have irregularities because the government is so damn strict. It's far different than lying as a cadet and continuing that lie now because you won't present your records. And who knows how many lies she's told. I mean, how the hell do we have this Blumenthal guy? I saw him today, and he was supporting Trump. I just want to punch him in the mouth. I mean, here's a guy who claimed he was in Vietnam and he's in the United States Senate. What a desecration to the people who lost their lives in the United States Senate. And what kind of people elect him? Sorry, Connecticut. How the hell do you elect a guy like that? And how can you ever take him seriously?
Right.
There are certain things you can forgive him. Forgive him all you want. Jesus says forgive everybody. He doesn't say make him a senator. Well, the debate last night, I guess, was pretty even, right, between the two of them.
Yeah, that's how it's being covered.
From what I could see, Jack is not making clear enough. There's no argument about these records.
Right.
These are not like private school records. These are records of the United States Naval Academy, your United States Naval Academy, my United States Naval Academy. I am entitled to those records more than she is because I am entitled to see who the hell is in my Navy and my Army. Also, by the way, you and I paid for her to go there. So what the hell is she doing saying she's not going to release her records? And I don't understand Pete. We got to call Pete. Get on the ball and just release the damn things. Just put them out. You show me the law that says you can't put out naval records, and I'll show you a law that isn't constitutional. They have no right to keep those records from us. What the hell are we, a dictatorship? Well, the Democratic candidates, we're going to do a special on this, I've decided. We'll work on it over the weekend. I don't think they've had such bad candidates in a long time. I'll go through some of the others quickly, and then each night we'll spend a little more time on them. I don't know if you could have a bigger slob than Katie Porter. I mean, that is one miserable. I'm not going to use the word because I'll get thrown off even this if I use it. But this is the one. Can we show her? You don't have to describe this. Just show her and tell me you want her as governor. I mean, maybe she should be governor of California.
Right.
I really think we should trade California.
So the first one,
I'm trying to figure out for whom, but we should trade California.
Right. So the first clip we're going to
I
play.
have an idea when we come back.
Well, this is the first clip we're going to play. This is Katie Porter during an interview with
Come
the local
over here so you can see.
California station. This was just a few days ago. Many of you
This
have
is-
probably already seen this.
This is too funny to miss.
And we're going to pull that up right now here. Just give us 1 second. We got to pull this up.
We're pulling. Ted is pulling. You should see him.
60% of the vote. You think you'll get 60%? Everybody who did not vote for Trump will vote for you.
It's on there.
In a general election,
You want it, you don't,
yes.
yeah.
If it is me versus a Republican, I think that I will win the people who did not vote for Trump.
What if it's you versus another Democrat?
I don't intend that to be the case.
No.
So how do you not intend that to be the case? Are you
Now
going to
we're
ask them
after.
not to run?
No, I'm saying I'm going to build the support. I have the support already in terms of name recognition. And so I'm going to do the very best I can to make sure that we get through this primary in a really strong position. But let me be clear with you. I represented Orange County. I represented a purple area. I have stood on my own 2 feet and won Republican votes before. That's not something every candidate in this race can say. If you're from a deep blue area, if you're from LA or you're from Oakland, you don't have an
But
experience.
you just said you don't need those Trump voters.
Well, you asked me if I needed them to win.
So you don't
I
think
feel
you
like
need
this
them
is
to win.
unnecessarily argumentative. What is your question?
The question is the same thing I asked everybody, that this is being called the empowering voters to stop Trump's power grab. Every other candidate has answered this question. This is not
Correct. And I
argumentative.
said I support it.
So, and the question is, what do you say to the 40% of voters who voted for Trump?
Oh, I'm happy to say that. It's the do you need them to win part that I don't understand. I'm happy to answer the question as you have it written, and I'll answer it.
And we've also asked the other candidates, do you think you need any of those 40% of California voters to win? And you're saying, no, you don't.
No, I'm saying I'm going to try to win every vote I can. And what I'm saying to you is that
Well, to those voters, okay, so you...
I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to call it. Okay. Thank you.
You're not going to do the interview with us?
Nope, not like this. I'm not. Not with 7 follow-ups to every single question you ask.
Every other candidate has answered
I don't
our
care.
follow-ups.
I don't care. I want to have a pleasant, positive conversation in which you ask me about every issue on this list. And if every question you're going to make up a follow-up question, then we're never going to get there.
Ms.
And we're
Porter,
just going to circle around.
I am an investigative
I have never had to do
reporter.
this before, ever.
She should be. There's a new qualification now. She should be disqualified from public office for not being a nice person.
She's cornered the
I'm not going to use the bad word for it. You know what it is. I don't have to tell you what she is. I would like you to contemplate the following. I don't know if she's married, she's not married, but can you imagine waking up in the morning, turn it over, and that's what you get? Whoa! Mother of God, that could create suicides. Katie, will you go get a personality somewhere?
And we got another one, Mayor.
You got a deeper problem than running for governor. You got to be. I think it is absolutely important. I don't know if it says. Doesn't it say somewhere that you have to be a person to run for office? I don't think she's a person.
Here's another one, Mayor.
But she is wicked.
And that is where we did a study recently this fall in September. And what it showed is if we don't electrify our transportation sector, that we're going to lose more than 500,000 Californians dying prematurely to air pollution and other problems. And the state could lose. Get out of my fucking shot.
I wanted to tell you that that's actually incorrect. It's not that it's electric vehicles. It's that if we don't meet the commitments under the Paris Climate Accord.
Okay, it does. Okay, you also were in my shot before that.
She's a real charm. She's a real charmer. I don't know. How about Ted? Why don't we just shut up and let them run these people?
Right, she is the front runner.
She's great. Nominate her. Democrats, nominate her, please.
And she is
There's a certain
the early front runner.
You got to be tough like that. I mean, you got to be insulting, nasty, vicious, use dirty words. Only way you could govern California. So I urge all Democrats to vote for her overwhelmingly. Then we can, and in politics, you're allowed to change. So
So
where do they
she's
finally?
known.
So now we got the one
She's a Warren acolyte.
We got the one who won't put out a medical records at the Naval Academy,
Mickey
even though
Sherrill.
they're government records. So we know she's lying. I mean, I'll tell you a story about a congressman I put in jail.
Hodel?
No. Congressman Biaggi, who said, I never took the Fifth Amendment. And then after a big, long battle, I only took it 46 times.
So that
he wouldn't let his records out. So the guy says, I never took the Fifth Amendment. And then they say, well, put out your records from the grand jury. No, they're private. The U.S. attorney says they're only private if you keep them private. You have a right to waive it. I don't want to waive it. It's all over at that point, right? Now, you know, they finally went to court, and finally Judge Palmieri released the records, and he had taken it 46 times, and he had to drop out of the mayor's race. But then he remained in Congress for all those years until I put him in jail.
Right.
Because everybody else was afraid to put him in jail because he was a big shot Democrat and allegedly had mafia connections.
Allegedly.
And allegedly did a for the boys. Allegedly did a
really
for the
congressman.
Oh, that was before he was a congressman.
Okay.
Allegedly. What that original case was for is something they don't do anymore. It was for private bills to become citizens. And he was getting 5, 10, 15, 20 grand a bill. And they were investigating, and his bagman took the fall. His bagman said, I never gave it to him. Similarly, Al D'Amato's, you know you hate me, this is why. Al D'Amato's brother did the same thing for him, took the fall. Then the case got overturned. The guy who overturned the case and wrote the opinion had been recommended by Al D'Amato. Look, it's not all on their side.
Right. It's
now. To me, there's no joking about this. Dishonesty in government leads to death. I know you find that hard to believe, but I mean, the best example is I knew the minute I got the information on Joe Biden, which was a year and a half before he was elected, that there was a tremendous burden on my back to stop this guy from being president. I couldn't do it. I knew he would kill people. And you're going to say, well, how did Joe Biden kill people? I'll tell you how he killed people. What he did in Afghanistan. What moron would take the soldiers out before the civilians? Well, in that case, a guy who in 2019 was demented. And there's a tape recording of his son and his son's psychiatrist saying it that was suppressed by the New York Times and all of the other communist bastards. It says it. That would have been known before the election if they hadn't censored the hard drive, which they had no basis for doing. They did it based on 51 so-called American traitors, spies who lied, who said it was a Russian disinformation. There's not the scintilla of evidence that it was Russian disinformation. And the FBI had it for 9 months and knew it wasn't. They just covered it up. So we got a president who killed people. You want more people that he killed? Okay. How many people came in illegally when he became president? I mean, he makes any other president look like good, even Obama. He just opened the borders. So we could have gotten bare minimum 10 million. We could have gotten 20 million. They were disproportionately murderers and killers because when you open the border, you now say to all of the cartels, all the drug organizations, all the terrorist organizations, this is your opportunity. You don't have to worry about somebody intercepting the fentanyl, somebody finding out you have a record. Why do you think we have so many people here with records like this? Because we never checked. Obama never checked. We would take in somebody who raped 4 children and he didn't give a goddamn. He didn't care. Now, maybe because his mind was out there somewhere, but I would think for money, 10 years ago, we would have done the same thing. How the hell do you have a president whose family took $31 million in the 4 years before he became president from our biggest enemy, China?
Bingo.
Covered up. Well, this is what happens. It's the broken windows theory, or it's the broken windows theory applied to just about everything in life. And that is, if you let the little things go, then it just blows up on you. If you let a little corruption go in politics, 10 years later, it's big corruption. You cannot be tolerant of this. You've got to be absolute monster about dishonesty in government. I don't know. Even if you don't prosecute them, go do some other job. Get the hell out of government.
Yep.
If you can't release your, Cheryl, if you can't release your records at the Naval Academy, then get the hell out of government. Go do something else. Go see one of your Democrat crooked friends that'll make you a millionaire. There are plenty of them. I mean, you probably made millions when you were in Congress. I would imagine if you didn't, you're stupid. They all do. I don't know how. It's not legal, but they all do. How, is she the one? Who's the one who made $7 million and couldn't explain why? I think I may have her. She may be the one who made had a $7 million increase in 1 year in her, and she didn't know how. When you don't know how,
$7 million?
$7 million. When you don't know how, will you excuse me if I suggest that possibly you're crooked? I don't think, as the U.S. attorney in the Southern District in New York, I would have accepted that. So I would say to my friend who's in New Jersey, whatever the hell happens to her, she's in front of a grand jury, huh? You're going to explain that $7 million if you don't want to, even if you don't want to. I think it's her, or is it the jackass in Virginia?
Yeah, we'll look.
Well,
for
now
that.
let's
They're
go to
both-
Virginia. We've spent enough time on this totally unqualified creep for governor. How about the Attorney General of Virginia that likes to kill people? Now, there's always this big thing. Were some people who hate Trump behind trying to get him killed or not? Some Democrats behind trying to get him killed or not? Now, I'm going to tell you why, because a year and a half before it happened, my friend, dearly departed Bernie Carrick, came to me and said, you got to go see the boss. He used to refer to Trump as the boss. You got to go tell the boss. They've tried everything. They haven't tried to kill him. These people are sinister enough to try to kill him. And I have every reason to believe that. And he gave me a little bit of information, not much. He didn't have much. Instinct. Hey, the guy was a great cop, one of the most decorated New York City police officers. And I just happen to be the guy that reduced crime more than any mayor in history. Also prosecuted more people as a U.S. attorney than a U.S. attorney. I think I know a little about crime. And he said to me, Mayor, I want you to think about something I know you haven't thought about because you don't want to think about. You know these people, right? Nobody knows them better than you do. You discovered Biden's criminality that nobody else discovered. You're the only one who put it forward originally. You got the hard drive, nobody else. You're the one who put it forward, right? They took $20 million from you for it. Are they morally capable of killing him? Oh, sure. Absolutely. 100%. Would they? Yeah. If they would frame him, they'd kill him. And that's all they were doing all during the time he was in office. The case that has to be made on James Cardinal Comey is being part of a very large frame-up that went on for about 7 years to destroy Donald Trump, to destroy him as a candidate, to destroy him as president, to destroy him as ex-president and future president. And then you have about 5 plots, all of which were illegal, including the one Hillary Clinton paid for, called Russian collusion. One big RICO case. 20 defendants, maybe. That's the way you'd convict him. And it would be so overwhelming. Even a Democratic New York jury, by the time you're finished, would be so exhausted, they'd convict them all. But, so now we have this guy,
Jay Jones.
Jay Jones. Now, I think let's listen to him, and then you make your own conclusion.
Well, for Jay, these are text messages. So
okay. Well, let's read.
We'll bring some of these text messages.
I have seen him on television, and I got to tell you, he looks like a wacko.
Yeah, right. He certainly looks like a
He
wacko.
looks like somebody that before I interviewed him, I'd want him examined by a psychiatrist, but that's okay.
So just give us a second. We got to pull up these text messages here. But he had.
So Jay Jones is running for Attorney General, the guy who enforces the law in the state of Virginia.
Right.
This is the place where they put parents in jail if they complain about their daughters having to be in bathrooms with predators. They beat up fathers who are upset about the fact that their daughters were subjected to being in a bathroom with a sexual predator.
Right. So just
this is the state so that does that. This is the state where McAuliffe said parents shouldn't have anything to do with education, just the bureaucrats and the communist overlords.
That's right. That's right. So Jay Jones,
the same state. So this guy is like
Jay Jones is threatened to kill a fellow legislator in Virginia. So it's going to take a moment for us to get these.
But he did it over and over again. The guy
he
gave him 3 times to get to clarify it, and he insisted he wanted to see him dead.
This is not going to be the prettiest version of the text, but I don't have the capability right now to get the.
And he did the same thing several years ago. I mean, he just likes murder. That's just what we need. An attorney general who likes murder.
So it's we got him up. You got to look closely, but we do have the text up on the screen.
Okay, can you read it?
So Jay Jones is talking with another person. We talked about this last night. He was texting with another individual and says that if he had 2 bullets and it were the state representative Gilbert, Hitler, and Pol Pot, he would shoot the state representative twice.
Now, the state representative, I think, was the head of the Republican Party.
Right. Right.
And then he goes on, and the guy says to him, "You don't really mean that." And he says, "I do." And then, "You don't really mean that." And he says,
"I do.
I do. I want to kill him."
Yeah.
Now, he has one going back a few years, too, that he wanted to kill.
Yep. Police. He talked about.
Oh, yeah. He wanted to kill the police. Yeah.
Right. And so
he thinks it's good if the police get killed. If they get killed, they're all bad anyway.
And this guy's a front runner right now.
It can't be. Not any longer. Now,
We'll
so here is the Democrat Party. Now, if this guy were a Republican, we throw him out, right? You know that, right? We've done that. There isn't a single Democrat that's willing to condemn this guy. Tim Kaine says, "I've known him all his life, and this is very unusual." Except he had said the same thing 2 years ago. Tim, where the hell were you 2 years ago? This is consistent with who he is.
Well,
now the lieutenant governor candidate is supporting him, and the governor candidate, Spanberger, is hiding somewhere.
Yeah. And here's Senator Tim Kaine. Remember him?
This is what I'm talking about. He likes him.
Do you think you should drop out of this race after those comments? I just answered your question. You have concerns about what you saw?
The comments are completely indefensible. I've known Jay Jones for 25 years, and those comments are very much out of character for him. So if I put the comments, which are clearly beyond the pale, against knowing this guy for 25 years, I'm still a supporter of Jay Jones.
Sounds like he's been saying it for 25 years, jackass. This isn't the first time he said it.
Right.
And more importantly, the lieutenant governor is another off-the-chart flying wacko.
That's right. So the lieutenant governor
candidate, it sounds just as crazy as him.
That's right.
Right. She
was seen. She had a speech here. She has yet to explain this.
Or explain her.
Let's put this up. This lieutenant governor
her
candidate
partner.
in Virginia. It's an upside down American flag.
We are not going to concede this democracy to the efforts of tyranny. We are not going to concede the rights that we have in this country to protect every single citizen. We are going to fight. This is an act of civil disobedience that we are going to keep up continue and are heard all throughout Virginia, all throughout the country.
Going back.
Okay, what's that about? An upside down American flag? And isn't she isn't she a DSA, a Democrat socialist?
I'll have to look.
Okay,
The lieutenant governor candidate?
that one.
Yeah.
The one.
I'll look.
The one that when you first showed me, I didn't think it was a woman, but
I'll take a look. I don't know.
No, I didn't. It was an honest mistake. I wasn't being. You showed me the picture. It was far away. I said, "Oh,
I'm seeing if she's.
I thought a woman was running." He said, "That is a woman." I said, "Oh." You can get confused.
Yeah, she does not. Ghazala Hashmi does not consider herself a socialist. Another candidate running, Alexander Bastani, did
What's she
identify
running for?
as a progressive. She is the lieutenant governor nominee.
Who?
Ghazala Hashmi, lieutenant governor nominee in Virginia. That's who we just put on with the American flag
So
upside down.
what is she? Is she an American citizen?
She is an American citizen. Yes,
Naturalized?
I believe. I don't know. I don't want to even say without.
Where does she come from?
She's the first Muslim American woman to appear on statewide ballot in Virginia.
So she's like Mondami.
Yeah, some similarity. Yeah, but Mamdani is so empty though, right? He has no.
Yeah, but I mean, do we know her views? I mean,
no.
Do we know why she puts American flag upside down?
Yeah.
Is she trying
We'll
to
get some more on that for tomorrow.
Is she trying to? I mean, nobody cares in New Jersey that she puts the American flag upside down. Like, is she trying to tell us something?
Right.
She's a Muslim. She puts the American flag upside down. Now, I don't know. Not all Muslims want to do that, but there are a fair number that want to kill us.
Right.
Not all. Not a few. Right.
And you would think someone like that would want to make
if they stuck
sure.
the flag upside down as somebody wanting to protect you, I go find out. I go investigate. You see, if I were in charge and some Muslim was walking around with an American flag upside down, I'd like to know why the hell do you have the American flag upside down, pal? You trying to tell me something?
Right. So, but it's just indicative of.
Let's find out more about her. As they say in The Godfather, let's look under her fingernails.
Well, we'll do some more digging. That's lieutenant governor nominee.
Who knows what we
Democrat
can
lieutenant
find there.
governor nominee for Virginia.
And then you got and then you have the candidate who she thinks this is all very, very bad, but she's not going to take anybody off the ticket.
Right.
She's going to have these people who say awful things and do awful things govern the state.
Right.
She came out of the CIA.
Spanberger? Yeah, I wonder what side, though. She came out of the CIA, but I wonder what side. That used to be a qualification.
She actually put Brad out. She beat Dave Brad.
Well, you know, the CIA I have great confidence in since they decided that I was a Russian agent.
My favorite is Mark Warner. No comment. The voice of reason, Mark Warner.
Oh, yes, Mark. I mean, Virginia,
Didn't say a word.
come on.
You refused to talk about it.
You finally went in the right direction. The governor before that liked to kill kids. Remember, if they come out of the womb, and the mother it's an abortion that doesn't take place, and the baby is born, and the mother is unconscious, then she and the doctor get a little time to figure out what to do with the now live human being. Well, what do you do with a live human being? The only two things that you can maybe you just throw them out the window.
Yeah, in Virginia.
And they tried the hardest to say we were mischaracterized. We played that 100 times when that came out. Just played it over and over and over again. It's clear what he's a doctor, which his license should have been taken.
He's a child doctor.
What?
Baby doctor.
He's a baby doctor. His license should have been taken away from him.
I heard that live on WTO.
Yeah, he's a damn murderer. Well, the Democrat candidates all throughout the country are like this. Wait until we go back to California. I used to think only California was nuts, but now we got Virginia. And then, of course, there's our favorite, Zohan the Magnificent, who is a trust fund baby from a family of anti-American people, right, who hates this country. And I think I'm going to try to find, let's see if I can find it. I think I'm going to try to find the record. Oh, first of all, I want to show you who you have to vote for. Okay. Put that up.
Oh, all right. Just give me a second.
Curtis Sliwa. Curtis founded the Guardian Angels back in the 1980s. The Guardian Angels are now in like 48 different countries. He helped New York get through a much worse time than even now before I was mayor. I've helped get him out of jail when he was put in jail for the wrong reasons completely. I've supported him. I know what he's done. I know what he's done to help New York. But you know the most important thing that he did? You know, all these kids in the Guardian Angels in 58 different countries, he straightened them out. These are good kids now. People who are responsible people. And this is a massive organization that he ran. And he also, if you heard him interviewed on my show, you might think, well, gee, he just knows about crime. This guy has spent a great deal of time learning the issues that affect New York. He knows them a hell of a lot better than Buttonhead Mandami, and he's certainly a lot more honest than Cuomo. And if anybody could straighten out the city, he can do it. So I know it's a long shot, but sorry. Just want to show you that there's my high school, Bishop Laughlin Memorial High School. These are all the Catholic schools in New York. Boy, there's not enough of them. 170,000 parents in New York City want their kid to go to a parochial or private school. Can't get in. And the New York State Legislature, controlled by the Communist Democrat Party, will not allow an additional slot for a charter school with 170,000 kids who are saying, please give me a different education than the communist-inspired non-education I get in New York City, where the numbers that they quoted for New Jersey are just as bad for New York. Without getting into the details, we'll have to go get them for you. Well, more than half the kids can't read properly when they graduate. More than half can't do arithmetic. When they go to college now, because some college used to take them in because of their race or whatever, they got to do 2 years of high school remediation. So what the hell is a college education? It's a high school education. But the open house is, let me see if I have the date here. The open house is October 22nd from 6 to 8, and you should go. All of these schools are fabulous schools. They've got like 80, 90, 95% college admission rates. And they're phasing out because of the money and because the state won't do in other places, the Catholic schools, the Protestant schools, the Jewish schools, and the independent charter schools are doing well because the state is helping to use some of the funds for them. In New York, no way, they're not going to do that. God forbid they should do that. I mean, that would mean the teachers would lose some money. Now, I want you to take a look at this because this will be a nice little thing. Maybe you should copy this down. This is what the mayor of New York, this is the main party that nominated him, the Democrat Socialists of America. Secondary party is Democrats. So, and he's been a member forever of the Democratic Socialist Party. Here's their platform: drugs. New York doesn't have enough injection supervised sites. You probably didn't know that in New York, we spend money giving heroin to people. not some alternative. Heroin. So God forbid they should have bad needles.
Right.
Decriminalize drug possession. Expunge past misdemeanor drug convictions, which means you can't look at a guy who's had a long history of misdemeanor drug convictions and now he's moved into the big time. Or you can't exercise the broken windows theory, which is, take care of the small things before they develop into big things. This is the reason why the city is so frightening a place to be in. There are probably 7,000 to 9,000 people walking the streets of the city of New York that when I was mayor would be in jail. Or when Bloomberg was mayor. They all got out with de Blasio and Cuomo. And that's why you can't vote for Cuomo. Cuomo is the guy who signed the bail laws that let those 7,000 to 9,000 out. He signed the laws that virtually make it impossible to treat as an adult anybody 17 or under, even if they kill 10 people and eat them. Finally, he changed parole. So Andrew Cuomo is singularly responsible for 49 cop killers walking the streets of New York or elsewhere who were there for life. 49 cop killers. Available, by the way, to advise Black Lives Matter and probably Antifa. And this guy wants to be mayor of New York to straighten out the crime problem. He created the crime problem. Also, New York is losing a lot of people. Andrew Cuomo gets elected. Everybody over the age of 65 is leaving because he's they're headed for a nursing home. But the nursing homes were his biggest contributor. You really want to know the story of Andrew? Really? I mean, no, I don't know why even the Republicans cover this up. Andrew stuck all those people in those nursing homes to die because nursing homes were squawking because they weren't making enough money. The hospitals were getting all the money. Come on, send us some of the people to die. He sent them 15,000. And then his big contributors were happy with him. Well, that's at least my supposition. You got a better one? Go talk to the families. Find out what they think. They think he's a murderer. I don't know if he's a murderer or not. He's certainly a crooked politician. He wants to decriminalize prostitution. Great respect for women, huh? Isn't he a Muslim, Ted? How do you, I mean, where the hell does he come from? Uganda?
Yeah.
But the Muslims in Uganda, if I either put in jail or kill prostitutes. You know that. In fact, in Uganda, they kill gays.
Yeah.
And he's very, very friendly with the head of Uganda.
Right.
So what is this guy's like a complete bullshit artist, right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
He wants to decriminalize prostitution. So now we can have the idea. And Crazy Adams said, well, we don't have to worry about the financial industry. It used to be 40% of our economy. We're going to have gambling. Oh, that's great. We're going to have drugs. And we'll have prostitution. Just think of all the money we're going to make. You know, who's made all the money on the legalization of marijuana? The 2,000 illegal marijuana shops that are now in New York in comparison to the 20 legal ones. 40 years I've been fighting this. If you decriminalize marijuana, you'll cut down the number of people who use marijuana. It's gone up 3 times. The number of overdoses, deaths, 3 times. All during a period of time where all the research on marijuana is becoming clearer and clearer and clearer. Even independent of the fact that it's 4 times more lethal than it was 20 years ago. And all the research says that there is a very, very distinct connection between THC and mental illness, particularly mental illness with violence as part of it. It affects that part of the brain. Thank you. And Mr. President, my friend, please do not change the category of cannabis and marijuana. My God, this would be the worst time to do it. Over the last 4 or 5 years, there's been study after study after study after study after study explaining how dangerous marijuana is and how peculiarly dangerous it is to the brain. To some extent, some of these studies say it's more dangerous than cocaine. Not as addictive, but deteriorating peculiarly the part of the brain that has to do with control of the violent impulse. I mean, I got the studies here. I'll go find them, but you got to send them to him because this would be a terrible, terrible mistake. And you got a lot of the people who aren't willing to stand up to him. They just won't stand up to him and tell him the truth. So also on immigration, he wants to close down all the ICE detention centers. Oh, that's so the rapists can be out on the street. I mean, God forbid they're here. They might as well get a chance to rape people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, if they don't do that, they can steal, rob, beat, kill. In fact, we got Democrats who bring them back because they haven't done enough beating of their wives. I mean, if you come to America, you should at least get 10 women beatings. You should be able to steal a couple $100,000, right? And you should sell some drugs. If you don't get a chance to do that and you get thrown out, they should bring you back so you can do it.
Yeah.
So he wants to decriminalize prostitution. He wants to get rid of mandatory minimum sentences, which means even less people will go to jail. He wants to close down ICE detention facilities, which means all illegal aliens are going to come and live with you. Health insurance, he wants to give it to all undocumented aliens, which, by the way, we do anyway. And that's why they want the extra money. The Democrats, a lot of this money for expanding Medicaid, Obamacare is to pay illegals. They claim they don't fund illegals. That's completely crazy. They even advertise doing it. I can go online as an illegal and register for health insurance. But he wants to make it completely legal. At least now it's illegal, but they do it. He wants to subsidize housing. Catch this one, Ted. Wants to subsidize housing for convicts and illegal immigrants.
They've been doing that.
Well, just in case. Well, this is because we don't have enough.
They're already doing this, by the way.
But we gotta subsidize it because we don't have enough in New York. We got to have more convicts and we have to have more illegal immigrants. Who the hell is going to vote for? And homeless, I don't know if this is a joke, but it says homeless, give them Wi-Fi. I don't know if that's a joke or that's something else.
I don't think if it's on. Is this real?
Yeah, read it. There, I had it up on the screen.
Yeah, no, that's real. That's not a joke. They want to give them Wi-Fi.
There, see it?
Yeah, that's real. That's very real.
These are the people who want to destroy this country for your children.
Right.
Let me just make one more point because this one really, 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 really puts it all together in one person, in one place. A guy named Louis Gary this Sunday was arrested. He had pitched his tent on the steps of St. Matthew's Cathedral. St. Matthew's Cathedral is the Roman Catholic center of the Diocese of Washington. It's the place where John Kennedy was buried. It's the place where John Kennedy was married, I think. Maybe not.
John Kennedy?
Well, John Kennedy was buried there. His funeral was at St. Matthew's
He's at
Cathedral.
Arlington.
What?
He's not in Arlington? Oh.
Yeah.
So Arlington's just a headstone?
Well, that's where the burial was.
Arlington. No.
Well, Arlington is where his body is. But
that's what I
the
meant.
funeral mass, which was actually Mozart's Requiem, was done at the Cathedral of St. Matthew the Apostle.
The ceremony. Yeah, okay.
That's the cathedral in Washington, D.C.
Yes.
for the Diocese of Washington. Mr. Gary was caught outside, and he had explosives with him, described as a massive cache of devices, was seized by the bomb squad. a homemade explosive that was used in the 1995 Oklahoma City bombing, modified bottle rockets with aluminum foils. Devices appeared fully functional, and he was staying overnight so that he could bomb the Red Mass that was going to take place last Sunday, because there were Supreme Court justices there. And he was caught by the cops, and they found a notebook in which written negotiations for the avoidance of destruction of property via detonation of explosives. He also, in his notebook, espoused hatred for the Catholic Church, Supreme Court justices, Jews, and ICE. Those were his special targets. And that's why he wanted to kill the justices, because they were helping Jews and Catholics. And they mostly are Jews and Catholics. He's arrested. This is what we have going on. Now, tomorrow night, I'm going to show you a chart that hopefully wakes you up to the fact that we are going through a trans murder epidemic that is being hidden from you. Just the same way they hid from you the illegal aliens that were killing you until Lachlan Riley was discovered. Of course, it was originally reported that an Athens man, Athens, Georgia, not Athens, Greece, killed her. The Athens man, of course, had been an Athens man for 4 days. He had come from New York, where he had been thrown out, basically, because he was a sexual predator. And originally, he came from Venezuela, probably deliberately exported and thrown out by Maduro as among the group of sexual predators and murderers that he threw out. He was also a ranking member of Trans Nicaragua. When he got thrown out of New York, he went to Athens, Georgia, hung around the college, looked for a pretty girl, followed her into the woods, and raped and killed her. And if it wasn't for some very, very good work, and including us, picking it up and focusing on this for 6 months, I don't know that we ever would have known how many illegal aliens were killing people. A lot. The same thing is true with trans. 4 of the last 5 mass murders have involved transgender. Maybe 6 of the last 8. We'll go through them tomorrow night. We don't fix this by lying to ourselves about it, because we're being sensitive. Who are we being sensitive to? People that are mentally ill, that we're not helping? I mean, we've been through that, haven't we? We certainly are not being sensitive to the vast numbers of people they murder, kill, and do things to that are terrible, or a society that we're destroying. So tomorrow night, we'll have details on that, and we'll follow up on where we're going here with, are we going to go all the way in this piece? If we are, it would really be terrific. So Ted, anything else that we want to cover tonight?
No,
I think we've covered many, many things that
great
people
show.
need to
Covered a
know
lot.
that they're not going to get anywhere else. They
Right.
sure as heck aren't going to get this list of trans murderers.
Right. Covered a lot. And then tomorrow, Big Friday, end of the week, and the president heads off to Egypt, being the first stop, and then
God
Israel.
bless 'em. Pray for Israel that we finally get this done, huh? Pray for Ukraine that we can stop that carnage. It's going on. Nobody's even paying attention. No, they're just killing people for no reason. They're killing civilians. They're not even trying to take strategic positions. The attack in Lviv, they're never going to take Lviv. It's on the Polish border. It's just gratuitous killing of Ukrainians. Pray for the people of Iran that have a chance of overthrowing the reign of terror, and pray for us and for our president. My goodness, he's doing so much, getting so much done. it's really, it's almost actually impossible to describe. But just thank you, God, and give him health and strength. I don't know if you have to give him strength. He has it. Just give him health. So we'll see you tomorrow night at 7. And then at 8, back here on America's Mayor Live. And may I just say a short rest in peace for the New York Yankees until next year. I avoided saying anything about it because I was afraid I would do something harmful to myself over our being out of the playoffs, beaten by a Canadian team. Well, God bless America. It's our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze. We are able to apply our God-given common sense. So let's do it. It's our purpose to bring to bear